Hey everybody, TC Bradley, host of God Made Millionaire TV, the hottest show on television. And I've been waiting all week for you, yes you, to stop on by and watch our show. And what a powerful show we've got lined up for you today. Waiting on set, we have Terry and Cheryl Hughey, who are the founders of Rising from Silence Foundation and the CEOs of TC Royalty Publishing Company. Cheryl was a victim of domestic abuse, rape, and sexual assault, and she witnessed firsthand the lack of resources available to victims of abuse. Her husband, Terry, inspired Cheryl to finish writing her book, and it's been recently published called There I Sat in Silence. This power couple is waiting for us on set, so without any further ado, let's crack open the God Made Millionaire bank vault and let's activate some God-given dreams. Terry, Cheryl, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us,
We're happy
DC.
to be here.
I have to tell you both, I've been so excited, blown away by your story, Cheryl. You are the author of There I Sat in Silence.
Yes.
I want you, if you would, at the start of the show, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your story.
I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. I have 6 wonderful children. I have 3 wonderful extended children and over 24 grandkids. I was brought up in a Christian home where both of my parents were preachers and later on became pastors. When I was around 11 years old, my mother asked me what I want to be when I grow up. I told her that I am going to write a book, that I am going to be a famous author, and everyone was going to see my book on the big screen. But shortly after that, I began to have dreams of me in the deep woods, running, trying to get to a light that was ahead of me. And as I was running, I was going through obstacles. And every time I got past one obstacle, I ran into another one. So I went to my mother and I asked her what's going on with these dreams because they were kind of horrifying to me. And my mother told me that the obstacles, that they were a sign of my trials and tribulations. And she said that the light was confirmation that there are going to be brighter days ahead. I held on to that, and believe me, those trials and those tribulations, they did come, and they came hard. But thank God for His grace and His mercy. I am a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault. But it was God's grace and mercy that brought me through. I met my husband, who is the love of my life, and at that time, I knew that I had reached that light and I had reached the mission that God had for me. I wrote the book, There I Sat in Silence. When I met Terry, he encouraged me to pursue writing the book, and he published it through his company, TC Royalty Publishing. He also encouraged me to follow my dreams of having a foundation, starting a foundation, which we both started together, Rising Up from Silence Foundation, which we also call Russ Foundation. We are on a mission right now to open a facility that will give victims and survivors of abuse long-term, permanent, transitional housing, along with services. We'll have a few other services that we'll provide as well. And that's our mission. That's the mission that we're on, and we're on together. I knew that that light was coming, but God blessed me with my light and my mission. And here I am.
Cheryl, there's such an anointing on this set.
Yes.
This is such a powerful
Yes.
story that you have.
Yes.
When you think of the title of your book, There I Sat in Silence. How many are sitting in silence now?
Yes.
Right, Terry? When you think about this, we clean up nice for church on Sunday.
Yes.
You don't know who you're sitting next to.
Yes.
You don't know
Yes.
what that person has been through. And Cheryl, I think God has raised you up
Oh, yes.
in this season because we have women in our church that's been through some things.
Yes.
Yes.
They don't look like what they've been through.
That's right.
We clean up good, we can shield.
Yes.
But how do you recover from such trauma
Right.
in a life? And it takes guts
Yes, it does.
to do it. It takes guts to lift the sheets back and
yes.
talk about this topic. Terry, it took guts for you
Yes.
Yes, sir.
to publish the book that addresses this topic head on, especially for somebody that is the love of your life, because
Yes.
it takes bravery to do this, Terry.
Yes, and she really brought my awareness of her experiences going through these type of behaviors and abuses that are occurring in our society as a whole is not being represented or being attended to. It affects everything that we do in our lives, actually. The abuse in the homes affects the children, it affects their ability to grow as people, and we really have to address that situation. For me, when she told me the story, I was really taken back, because when you look at her, you would never imagine that someone would treat her in that manner. Me, myself, I felt that we have to do something to help someone else that may be experiencing that or had experienced it, because it's such a dramatic experience in your life to be able to recover from. It's mind-boggling that so many people that we talk to have gone through the same situation and have no outlet. You know, they go to a shelter, the shelter after 30 days, they have to go back if they don't have or can not able to find their own place. So we really have to address that as a society. But in our foundation, we address it now in our community. We help people that come to us with rent, bills, we offer free counseling. We do all of those things. But her story is very unique, very unique. I mean, she survived it. So for anybody that's watching this show, look at her. You can get through that and still be successful.
Terry, what I admire about you so much is that you came in to this as a successful businessman.
Yes.
And you came in like I am. I had blinders on. I wasn't really aware.
Right.
You know, you hear stories of it, but you're not really aware. But something happened when you heard that story, and something
Yes.
inside of you go, you know what? I can use this gifting that God has given me as a businessman, and we can do something that's actually going to make a difference. That's why you started the foundation.
Yes, yes, sir. Absolutely. And the foundation is really important, we feel. We feel that the community needs it, the state needs it, the country needs it, people around the world. And there's people around the world that is experiencing these same abuses. We, the Rose Foundation, is offering an outlet to that. So we ask anybody that want to support us, just listen, read that book. That book will change your perspective on domestic violence.
Everyone across the world needs to read this book.
Yes.
Anybody that has a daughter, and I would tell you, anyone that's got a sister
Yes.
needs to read this book. Anyone that has somebody that they love as a wife needs to read
Yes.
this book because it is powerful. Talk about the book, what inspired you to write the
Well,
book.
what inspired me to write the book was everything that I had gone through. My tragedy started when I was around 12 years old, finding out that my father was not my biological father. The father who raised me was not my biological father. I was really taken by that. I started running away, and here I was, this little church girl, out in the streets, calling herself running away because every time our home was happy, it's like I felt this is not real. And I would run away from home, and that's how I ended up getting raped at a young age. And, then going through several marriages, trying to find that peace.
Hey everybody, T.C. Bradley, host of God Made Millionaire TV, and I'm honored and privileged to host the hottest show on TV, where each and every Sunday we feature God's people, faith-based entrepreneurs and leaders activating their God-given dream right before your very eyes. I want to encourage you that if you're somebody that God has given a God-given dream, I invite you to come on our set and activate your God-given dreams. Book a call with our producers and walk in your destiny. People don't realize when you go into a marriage, you're not just marrying the love of your life.
Yes.
You're marrying their history.
Yes.
Too. And a lot of times you have to pay for something that was done a long time ago. You had nothing to do with that.
Right.
And so that trauma from your youth, you carried that in
Yes.
to your relationships.
Yes. By me not having that relationship with my dad anymore, I started looking for that relationship in other people. But I end up married, and that's where I was physically abused, raped in the marriages. I endure a lot.
Cheryl, there are women right now in 200 nations, and they're watching this show, and they've got tears streaming down their face because they are stuck in a relationship where there is abuse going on, horrific, terrible abuse. And they see you, royalty, on set with a wonderful relationship with your husband, and they're watching, they go, I want that, but I don't see a way out.
Yes.
What is the answer for that woman? Speak into that camera and speak to that woman right now, because you understand the pain. You've been there. Speak to these women in over 200 nations.
I just want to say to anyone who's going through domestic violence or sexual assault, there is a way out. I challenge you to put your faith in God. Ask God to lead you. If you ask God to lead you, everything will be all right. I promise you. God is a way maker. Ask God to guide your path. Ask Him to show you how to get out of that situation, because it's not normal. It's not normal. A lot of times I went back to my abusers, so I'm sure a lot of you are feeling that as well. I went back over and over again, but you can do it. You can do it. Just give it to God. I promise you, if you give it to God and ask Him for His direction, everything will be all right.
Amen. Amen. Powerful stuff. Terry, you're doing something about this.
Yes.
With this foundation that God has joined you together. Let's talk. I want to deep dive on that, if you don't mind, a little bit more about this foundation, because we can talk about the problem, but we need laborers. And you know what? If you're sitting there going, well, something needs to be done, here's somebody doing something about it. This show is about activating God-given dreams.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. When the enemy is trying to take you out of your God-given dream by abuse, there are some of you that there are millionaires inside of you that the enemy's trying to kill off. But we can support a foundation that is actually in the streets. They're providing
Yes.
services to these people. Terry, talk about this foundation, because you got me all excited about this.
Her book, There I Sat in Silence, gave birth to Rising Up from Silence, Ruff's Foundation. After reading her story and her telling me her story, I felt compelled to actually want to reach out to our community and beyond to help women or men, children in that same predicament. See, one thing that we have always talked about was the environment. Our foundations, our vision is to build no 30-day shelter or temporary situation, which does nothing but put a Band-Aid on it. And 90% of those people that are abused go back to an even worse situation. Our foundation wants to make that a long-term, where we offer counseling, therapy, financial aid, child care, education, and job training. So we want to create an environment that supports women and men, children, through long-term situation so they can break that cycle. I wasn't too aware of that. I never been around it. I didn't ever grow up in that type of situation. So that was all new to me until I started really researching it and seeing what was what. And the numbers are phenomenal. And since COVID and the pandemic,
It's even worse.
it's even worse.
It is.
They're locked down.
Yes.
They can't get out and ask for help. It's something that we need to address, and we need to address it now.
Tell us a little bit of how we can get behind the foundation. Is this a local foundation? Are you taking this across the country, into the nations? Tell us a little bit more about the
currently we are local.
Where you at? Where you at?
Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Okay.
We get calls from people that are abused from all over the country.
Yes.
Now, we don't have jurisdiction in those countries, in those towns, but when they contact us, we'll go and research whatever area they're in and find someone that can help them.
It is a pandemic,
Yes.
violence
Yes.
against women. I hate to tell you the news, but it is true.
Yes.
And it gets pushed under the carpet
Yes, it does.
so often.
It does.
Yes.
How did you break it? How did you break that cycle of violence, of trauma?
Something that every guy would do, you know, they would try to tag into the fact that I'm a Christian. Okay, you want to leave, you're a Christian. You're supposed to, you know, you're
They
supposed
used
to
it
pray
against
for
you.
me. Yes, yes, that's the word I was looking for.
Right.
You're supposed to pray for me. You're supposed to pray that I get better. After the, you know, first couple of marriages, it's like, okay, I don't want to be married anymore. So I would go through a lot to try to fix the marriage and say, God, come on, fix the marriage. Fix him, he can be fixed, you know. And I would try to do that.
How many women right now are attempting to do that?
Yes, fix it.
Yeah, how
Yes.
many? You can't
You
fix
can't fix
that.
it.
No.
You cannot fix it.
Listen, at home, if you're in
cannot.
that situation, that is not something that you pray about.
No.
That is not something you can fix.
No.
That is something you need to get out.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but I'm talking to
Absolutely.
somebody. And you know what? That's manipulation.
Yes, it is.
And manipulation is not of God. Well, if you were a Christian, you would pray for me.
Yes.
If you were a Christian, you would stay by my side.
Right. Right.
No, that's manipulation.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
And you're not called to be a doormat, and you're not called to be beat
Yes.
on
Yes.
in violence. I don't care who it is, in the church or out of the church.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Am I speaking the truth, Terry?
Yes,
you are.
absolutely.
You got me riled up, Terry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, sir. And it's important, especially for men, right? 'Cause
Right.
you don't see a lot of men involved in this. Usually they are the abusers. We need to see more men standing up against this domestic violence, putting their hands on our women, our children. That is not acceptable.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. You know, we're almost out of time on this show. I thank you both for coming and shining a light on this topic. And it took such bravery for you to come on national TV, seen in 93 million homes, 200 nations. The cat's out of the bag.
Yes.
About
yes.
your foundation. We're going to drop a link down below.
Yes.
But before I go, I want to give, ladies first, I want to give you an opportunity to speak to over 200 nations, a message of hope and inspiration, and Terry will wrap it up with you, giving you that same opportunity, sir, to do that. But Cheryl, speaking to that camera and speak a message of hope.
There is hope. There is hope. You will get to the point to where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. I got to that point. But you could get help before you get to the point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Again, pray. Ask God for guidance. That's the #1 key, is praying and asking God for guidance. I have been there. I understand. I understand that you don't want to be alone. I understand that maybe he controls the money, but there is a winner in you. Pray, ask God for guidance, and I promise you that God will make a way.
Terry?
This book, There I Sat in Silence, is a must read. If you're looking to get yourself out of an abusive situation,
Yes.
this book will take you through all the trials and tribulations and bad choices that women tend to make trying to hold on to men. If a man raises his hand in any way towards you, you should leave.
Yes.
This is not a situation that you want to keep yourself in. Our foundation, her book right now, for the next 48 hours, anyone who purchased her book, all those proceeds will go to the Ruff's Foundation. 100% of those proceeds. You need to read the book. It's excellent, it's inspirational, it's motivational, and if you're looking for a way out, this book will help you get there.
Anyone that's going through abuse or sexual assault and you don't know what to do or how to get out, you could call us at 772-200-5252, and we will help you get the resources to get you out of that situation.
You know, Terry and Cheryl, the show is based on God's people helping God's people. I cannot think of a better foundation to get behind and to support than this. I want to encourage all of our viewers at God Made Millionaire Nation, all of the viewers, this is the time for us to rise up together and support somebody that's in our communities doing something. And I'm calling on the pastors, especially the pastors, to sow a seed into this foundation. Get these books into the hands of their people. So I want to thank both of you for your courage on coming on to our show today. It's been an honor of mine. You got me all fired up. We're going to drop the links down below so you can support us at home and support the this incredible foundation. Get this book. You don't have to sit in silence anymore. You don't have to sit in silence anymore. I want to bless you both. I want to encourage you to come back and see me.
Absolutely.
You come back and see me again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please don't stay in that situation.
No.
Call the number down below. Please do it. You can remain anonymous.
Yes, definitely.
You'll get the help. There is help.
There is
and there is hope.
Yes.
Is there not?
Yes, yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Amen. Thank you guys so much,
Thank
and I
you.
look forward to having you come back and give us an update on the foundation.
We sure will.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
J.O. Vicky, can you believe we are at the end of another show? And what a powerful show we had lined up for the people at home. You know, people think God-given dreams are just financial, but Terry and Cheryl, they proved that God-given dreams, sometimes it's not about the money. What a powerful message, Vicki.
Oh my goodness. Cheryl wrote a book, I Sat in Silence. She went through so much abuse and she sat in silence. I'm talking to everybody at home. You don't have to sit in silence. Please speak out. You have a voice. God gave you a voice. You're not a doormat. You can get out of the situation you're in. Take the first step. Please take the first step. God don't want you to stay in this abuse. Please take the first step and get out.
J.O., it was hard for you to watch the show, I know, because you've got daughters.
Yeah, I do have daughters, TC, and the reality is that, God has given my daughters power. And one thing about an abuser is he tries to take your power, and you can't let that happen. You have the power to get out of your situation, and you have the power to be able to change your life for the better. So get out of that situation, make the call, whatever you got to do, connect with Terry and Cheryl, and please, please get out of that situation.
You know, guys, we're just about out of time. I'm looking at Big Mike. He's getting ready to strike up the band. We always do the prosperity dance. I want to do it today in honor of all the survivors of domestic abuse. We're going to do the prosperity dance. We encourage you at home, put your shades on, put some attitude behind it, and do your prosperity dance. Big Mike, hit my music. Ever since publishing my book, Supernatural Success, we have been blown away by the testimonials we received from people just reading the book. There's a businessman that generated $300,000 into his checking account within 45 days of reading and applying the principles that I teach in Supernatural Success. There's a stay-at-home mother generated $10,000 in the month of December just by reading the first 3 chapters. I've always wondered what would happen if I actually took the time to deep dive on the principles that I talk about in Supernatural Success. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to let you know that I've done that. We've put together a powerful video masterclass where I dive in to these supernatural success principles that you can use to activate success and prosperity in your life and in your business. I want to encourage you not only to get the book, but deep dive in our Supernatural Success video masterclass, a powerful, powerful teaching on supernatural success. One module, one moment, one instruction can change your life forever.